Hi, my name is Pinyao, and today I'm going to talk about my paper, Virtual Dream Reliving. Nothing in sight, and I can hear dishes clinking. I realized I was sitting at the dining table with my family, and I can hear my mom saying, "Your grandmother is in the shopping mall." And I was shocked because my grandmother passed away 7 years ago. And then I realized maybe she's still here in this dream world. And maybe if I kept this conversation going for long enough, I can get to talk to her. And I want to go back into that dream, re-experience the feelings and emotions. And perhaps I can figure out what's the meaning behind. And that's what dream reliving is all about. It's rooted in the scientific concept of dreamwork. Through dreamwork, we can often attain personal insights, and sometimes we perceive ourselves or the world in a new way. In human-computer interaction, related to this is the field of dream engineering. Some researchers has been looking at how we can use technology to incubate dream content using auditorial cues, or train for lucid dreaming using a VR neurofeedback system, or incubate flying dreams using VR flying experience, recreate dream flying sensations and transcendent emotions with VR. However, most of these works focus on the stages before the dream or during the dream, such as priming, training, or incubating, but very few has looked at stages after dreams. And thus we propose dreamwork engineering as a new subfield. And also, it motivated us to use virtual reality as a powerful tool to reconstruct 3D scenes for dream re-experiencing. When I was young, I really loved the story of Aladdin. There's something fascinating about put your hopes and dreams into words and it manifests itself into reality. And 23 years ago, visionary researchers developed Words Eye, a software that can automatically convert texts into 3D scene. However, one of the limitations was it relied on a large database of pre-designed 3D models. What if I dreamed of something that doesn't exist in the database? What if I dreamed of a pig wearing a backpack? And that's where generative AI could serve as a game changer. And there it is, a pig wearing a backpack. We reviewed the state-of-the-art text-to-3D generative models, and we decided to choose Point E, which is one of the fastest. We then developed our Reverie system. In this system, you have a little ear in your palm, and you whisper your dream objects into your ears. And then what you whispered will come into life. An aircraft from the movie Dune. Let's say I dreamed of an aircraft from the movie Dune, which I really love. And then the AI will generate this organic looking aircraft, and then I can use my hand to move it, resize it, or throw it in the air. Iron Man. Or say I dreamed of Iron Man. And then I can bring them together, move them around, and remap their spatial relationship. So I conducted an autoethnographic study as a researcher, and every morning I would record my own dreams with a recorder, and at the end of the day I will put on VR headset and relive my own dream. And during these 2 weeks I could remember 4 nights of dreaming. Every night I had 2 or 3 distinct dream images. Back to the dream where I dreamed of my grandmother. In the dream, I felt I was on the edge of waking up, and I tell myself, just hang on for a bit longer, and I try my best to dive back into the dream. And I can feel the water of dream was topping over my chest, and I can feel this numbing sensation around my head. And at the same time, I start to hallucinate, and I can hear my grandma's voice calling my nickname again and again. And I feel this boiling warmth in my heart, and something's blocked in my chest, and I almost broke into tears. Afterwards, I was talking to my co-author, and I showed him a digital analysis of the dream, and I was trying to lift up the board, but then I found it unusually heavy. It turns out there's a second layer. On that board there are several wooden sculptures and translucent crystal ball. And then I realized I was still in the dream, and then everything was pulled away from me. The kitchen things. So I was half narrating, half manipulating the dream objects in virtual reality. Here I was trying to take a picture with the phone. I was moving the sculptures and crystal balls. So what are some of the key takeaways? The first is the potential contributors to dreamwork. Abstracting and anchoring, which means each AI-generated object serves as an anchor for the concept of a dream object, and we deliberately use this abstract visual aesthetic to make it easier for the user to attribute meaning. And the spatiality offered by virtual reality and also the user's movement, they resemble the visual spatial quality of dream, and how in dream there's significant amount of kinesthetic imagery. And finally, computational interactivity, through which we could interact with the dream elements and dream objects, treated more as a fluid and alive experience rather than a fixed content. We also propose generative AI as a collaborator for autonomous insights. And finally, there's a tension between prompt engineering for the specific AI model versus the natural dream narration. In a way, I was self-censoring because I was playing a bit with the AI model already, and I knew that the more complex the prompt, the lower quality it tends to be. So in the future, maybe we could use large language model to solve this problem. There's one thing left that I don't quite understand, was the hidden second layer. I started to realize that as a virtual reality researcher, I've always been dealing with digital interfaces and has been a bit detached from the materiality. And this hidden second layer seems to remind me to bridge the digital and the physical. In my research creation, this motivated me to put more emphasis on the physical side, and I designed this interactive installation based on the dream reliving system, but added this layer that involved the participants physically and adding to another layer of experience. And this started to make me think of how dream can provide us scientific creativity. And this is not something entirely new. The 19th century chemist AltCHI saw a snake seizing its own tail, which inspired him to discover the ring structure of benzene. So the final takeaway is how dreams can offer a scientist scientific creativity. And this will complete the overall framework for technology-aided dreamwork methods. And I want to conclude the presentation with a quote from AltCHI during a scientific conference. "Let us learn to dream, gentlemen, and then perhaps we shall learn the truth. But let us be aware of publishing our dreams before they have been put to the proof by the waking understanding."